To begin, I come to the side of my horse. Left side or right, it doesn't matter. We're going to end up working from both sides equally. I position myself so that my body is about even with the middle of his neck. With my hand closest to my horse, I take a hold of the rope about 2 feet or so from the clip. I don't want to be right choked up on his chin. I always want to have a comfortable slack in between him and I. The excess rope I fold gently in my opposite hand to keep it out of the way, and then I place the whip comfortably on top. I carry the whip pointing forwards and down towards the ground, and I stand facing the same direction as my horse. To explain to my horse what I'd like to do, I'm going to use the hand closest to him, the hand holding the rope, and simply point in the direction that I like to travel. So to begin walking forwards, I point in that direction. To slow down, stop, or back up, I lift my hand and the rope towards his withers. Turning towards my horse, I take his nose with me forward into the turn, never coming under his neck here, always forward and around. And to turn my way, my arm comes across my body, always maintaining a gentle slack in the line. Now, if my horse doesn't respond in the way that I'd like, then I can use the whip to clarify my question. So asking to walk forwards, I can bring the whip around and point towards his hind end, towards his engine. If he doesn't respond to my halt, I can wave the whip in front of his eyes as a visual barrier to get his attention. Same thing on the outside turn, I can make a visual barrier beside him. And on the inside turn, I can point the whip towards his ribs to ask him to bend around. So putting it all together now, it can look something like this. Asking to walk forwards, clarifying with the whip, and off we go for a little walk together. I always begin by asking my horse to walk straight forwards, but then we can begin to make figures around the arena. For the sake of this video, I'm going to stay relatively close to the camera, but I'd encourage you to make full use of the entire space you have to work with. Incorporate circles, figure eights, lots of changes of direction. I always begin with fairly large sweeping figures, and as we get into the session, I can make the turns a little tighter according to my horse's ability. Coming into the halt now, and whoop, good boy. Everything I've done so far now, I'm going to repeat from the other side of the horse. So I'm going to switch my hands, reorganize the rope. Everything is going to be the same but opposite now. Many horse people have grown up doing everything from the left side of the horse. So you may find the right side to feel quite awkward and unusual. But it's important that we work equally from both sides in order to develop both the body and the mind in a balanced way. This is true of a horse and equally true of ourselves. So if being on the right side at first feels terribly uncomfortable, I'm going to encourage you to just stick with it, and I promise that it will get easier with practice. Notice how my body language is very relaxed, very natural. Coming into the halt. Boy. I take lots of halts through my practice, and every time I halt, I take a minute to just stand and hang out before moving on again. Now, if you watch carefully through my practice, you'll see all of those aids that I first described to you. They're quiet, they're very natural, but they're consistent and, as you can see, very clear to my horse. I like to think of it as though I was out for a walk with a friend. We come to a fork in the road, and I point and I say, let's go that way. That kind of natural gesturing is exactly what our horse is going to easily understand and respond to. Remember that we never want to pull on the rope or drag our horse around. Our goal here is to develop communication that's soft and fluid and teach our horse to respond to the lightest of aids. In the first few classes, this is all we're going to do. Walks, halts, turns in both directions, and working from both sides of the horse. We're looking for ease, we're looking for relaxation, and we're looking to set a very high bar for how our horse responds to us. This is all about building a foundation.